or you will have to fly, and that's extra money. So we have to play with that. So how are you guys gonna help? Again, we're gonna need you to help us raise about $1 million from all the Northeastern Conference churches. We can do that. I don't think it's a whole lot of money that we cannot do. And then we're gonna use all the money to do the trips. Now, we may not be able to go to Grenada this year, because if we do not do the trip before Thanksgiving, it's not gonna happen this year. You all know that once Thanksgiving gets here, nobody's gonna be in the mood to go to any mission trip, okay? Any question on the mission trips to the Caribbean? You don't need visa to go to any of them if you're an American citizen. Well, even if you're not an American citizen, if your citizenship is within CARICOM, you don't need a visa. Yes. We don't have a date for the trips yet. But once we find out when the trip is, between Sister Murray and Brother Semper, they'll make the announcements here. Any one of us who want to go would be able to go. Now, we will be giving free tickets. If, for example, your church raised a certain amount of money, the pastor will get a free ticket to where we're going. That's it. Just a pastor. I'm a pastor, so I'm prejudiced. The member? Yeah, if a member raised $2,000, we're going to give the member a free ticket. You understand?
So what is it called?
Oh, we're not prejudiced at all. You can come. Yeah, you can come. Even if you're just going to be serving water, you're welcome to come. You don't have to know how to do construction. If you can carry a cup of water, you're welcome to come.
So how much is it if you just want to pay your own way?
If you want to pay your own way, I would love for you to come. Even if you pay your own way, we'll let you know how much. We have not yet looked at the market. The price of airline tickets have gone down substantially. I've seen some tickets going to Grenada for only $150 each way. One way, yeah, $150 one way, yeah.
Okay, what type of trades people are you looking for?
What
trades?
Trade? Yeah, you don't have to have a trade. The people who are going with us, we're going to give you the trainings in what area we want you to do, and we have folks in the conference who are a professional. They will train you, and when you go there, you'll be able to serve. But we guarantee you, whether it is to serve water, you're going to be working. Everybody's going to have something to do. But I encourage every one of you, especially if you retire, and if some of you work, you never take a little vacation, please, let's go join us. Even though it's work, but you're going to feel it's like a vacation being there.
So how long is this mission trip?
The mission trip we propose to have a 15 days mission trip. It's a proposal that the committee will vote on this coming Tuesday. Okay?
I'll talk to you.
Yeah, I would love for you, anybody who wants to come, we would love to have at least a minimum of 40 people in each trip. Okay? That will help us cover all the houses that we need to cover. You want the laptop again? Okay. I'm gonna have to Okay. What is
Is it my class?
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's true. I tell folks I speak with my hands. Brethren, some of you gonna probably already started your election, church election. If you have not started, some of you will start rather soon. When they put the nominating committee together, if your pastor does not want to do it, please contact me. We need every church to vote to have an older member ministry in their local church. This is very important. If anyone is a card-carrying member of AARP, now the reason why I don't say 55, because most of y'all, especially your ladies, when you reach 55, you still don't want anybody to know that you need to apply for AARP. That's all right. I am a member of AARP. I passed 55 years ago, left it behind. And I don't apologize for that, because the only people who don't want to tell their age are those who are ready to die. Only the dead people don't go old. The rest of us, we go older every day. So, because I'm alive, I'm an old man, thank God, and I'm a senior citizen. When I have my cell phone with T-Mobile, T-Mobile has a 55 and over thing. As soon as I turn 55, I say I want my discount. And a lot of you have a lot of discounts with Subway and other things. You're not taking advantage of it because you don't want people to think that you're old. Good luck. You must have a lot of money. Let me do it. Let me enjoy it for yourself. Senior citizens, now in your local church now, we need you to organize your older member ministry. The folks been asking me, do you have to have training to be an older member director? Okay. Some, by the way, some in North America call it older members ministry, some called it seniors ministry. Whatever you choose to call it, Northeastern doesn't care. You can call yourself anything, but you need to come together and begin to have special program for seniors. Now, there's plenty of money available for seniors coming from the city of New York and the state of New York. Once you come together as a group, you can apply to get some grants from City Council. I received a grant twice of $10,000 each from the Borough of Queens for our senior citizens ministry. Hanson Place can apply for it. Not only you can apply from the City Council or from the New York State Assembly, you can apply from the federal government for special grants so that you can receive special privileges that are available for seniors. Now, we have some guidelines. I thought that I brought it with me, but when I was looking for it, I think Brother Semper should have a copy of it, because I remember in one of the meetings, we did pass out a cover of Elder Cares Ministry. This is an old one that I had in my stuff that speaks what is required for older members ministry. That's one of our brochures. You can get it online. We have it on our website. You can go, and there you will see everything you need to know about seniors ministry. But every church should have a seniors ministry in their congregation. Now, the person, I'm repeating myself, the person who's the leader must be 55 and older. If you have someone who's 50 years old who wants to serve as director, that's fine. If someone is 85 and wants to be the leader, that's also fine. Even if you're 99 years old, you want to serve as director, it's okay. In other words, there is no age limit for you to serve. We encourage you to do so while you are young, because nowadays, most of people who are 55 and over, They don't look it, and they do not behave like they're 55. If I tell you my age, you will flip. Mind your business. I keep telling you this since morning. I keep telling you, Tim, I don't know why these people refuse to watch a minute, but it's true. No, understand what? I'm 66 years old. I'm 66 years old. No, I don't. And you know what's good about it? I turned 66 in June. Girlfriend, you have no idea. And worst of all, I'm not married, girl, you know. And the good thing, and I would like to get married. What are you laughing at me for? Yeah, I would like to get married. Here's what I want you to know when I say this. When you are, and let me do some advertisement in this, in case any one of you thinking of marrying me. I'm not taking any medication at this time. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. This is my son here. No, let me explain to you why is this significant. You know something? I am having cataract in my eyes surgery Monday, this coming Monday, because I want to stop wearing glasses. Glasses make me look old. I want to look younger. So I'm having them to remove the cataract from my eyes. Now, guys, listen. You know how when you're about to have surgery, they give you a list of, do you have high blood pressure? Do you have this, you have that? I'm sitting there, checking no. And I had to drop on my knees and glorify God. Yeah. I drop on my knees because the only pills I take in the morning is my D3, right? And all that. It's a blessing at 66. I am not popping pills. Because most people my age are taking all kind of pills at this time, right? It's a blessing. All it's involved, brethren, it's take care of yourself. And if any one of you thinking of marrying me, you better start working on yourself, because
let's make sure
I have to make up for, that's right. I'm going to make up from all these years. I don't care what is required. I'll do what I need to do so that. Okay? Tim, mind your business, son. Okay. So, where was I before how did I get into this kind of business? Right? So, seniors is very important because a lot of us are suffering from mental illness. Myself, I keep myself very busy so I don't get lonely. But there are times that I miss having the children around. You know, they're grown. They don't miss not being with me. As a matter of fact, they're happy that they're not around me. But I miss having them around. I don't know, have you guys, seniors, especially people like myself who are single parents, have you ever sometime go to the supermarket, you tend to buy more than you need because you're accustomed to buy food for them, and sometimes you're looking at certain places, you want to buy clothes, and you remember when they were young, you used to buy clothes for them and stuff like that. Thank God I don't have grandchildren. I don't have to spend my money buying nobody new stuff and stuff. But I remember when the boys were younger, and I will go shopping for them and stuff like that. These are because of the memories of when they were around or things you used to do. It can get very lonesome by yourself. It's very important that you do a lot of self-care. I go out. When I was in Jamaica, I informed the president, I'm going to take some time off, and I'm going to go in all-inclusive. I'm not going to go in no all-inclusive with family. I want to go where they have for adult only, enjoy myself, walk around the way I want to walk around, and if anybody call pastor, I will not look back. Because I will recognize nobody, and I will just be relaxed and have fun. You know what I'm saying to you? You must take care of yourself. And brethren, take care of yourself. And some of you, you need to understand sex is good. Some of you don't have sex, it's not good. And it's important that I tell you that because nobody will. Sex is good. The Lord invented it for a reason. And scientists say that it does something to the body. Okay? And if you want to go to your movies, go to the theater, go enjoy yourself. God, this is an extended years the Lord gives you. A lot of people don't live to be your age. They're dead. Why you are behaving like you're dead? You are alive. Enjoy life. Don't stay home all the time watching TV. Go out. You'll be surprised. You might enjoy yourself. Some Saturdays I'm leaving. When I have my favorite Haitian restaurant in Stamford, I will stop there. I love jazz. I don't know if any of you love jazz. I go to Blue Notes, right across the bridge there. I go to Blue Notes, and I sit, watch jazz, listening to jazz and stuff. Sometimes I go to the theater. Just enjoy life. Please do that. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Okay? That's my sermon for this afternoon. And please don't forget, do take good care of yourself. Seniors ministry is important. My office will support you. Dr. King's office will support you. Get it going. I spoke to Nigel, Pastor Lewis, about it. He's going to encourage you to have it. It's important for the young people. Older. Listen, let me say it this way. We are fastly becoming the majority in our congregations. And you need to begin to do things for us seniors. Our children, this new generation of children, they will not hesitate to put you in a nursing home. Okay? Now, it's not just my children. Your children too. And they will tell you that to your face. And if you're going to cry, you think that's going to impress them. They won't be impressed with your crying. They're going to put you in a nursing home. And they'll visit you when they can. When they want to. Okay? We raise a different kind of people than our parents do. And you need to do it while you can. And any of you can avoid not having a stroke. Do what is necessary not to have a stroke. There are things that you can do to avoid it. Do it. Take care of yourself. I go to the gym especially when I don't feel like it. If I feel like it, good. I will exercise at home. But if I don't feel like it, that means I better do it. I go to the gym. I walk around. Even when I am in the thing, people see me, they think I'm wearing 2 watches. Well, I guess I am. Because I measure my blood pressure, my sleep, how much sleep did I get. I measured my steps. I have my 10,000 steps I need to take. All is that I'm responsible for Mario. Nobody else is responsible for Mario. I am. Take care of yourself. I heard someone say this which affected my life and said, you use food as your medication so that you don't use the medication as your food. You heard that statement before? Yeah. I practice that at home. After 6 o'clock, if I can help it, except when I was in the all-inclusive, I don't eat after 7 o'clock. They say after 6. I don't eat. When I go home, I feel like eating, and it's late, I don't eat. Because I know my body does not digest the food the same way it used to when I was younger. I take care of myself. I live alone. I must take care of myself. Because when I die, I'm going to die alone. They might find out a month later with your smell, get out of it. You understand? So I must take care of myself. Take care of yourself. Please. It's a gift. Take care of yourself. It's a gift from God to you. It's a gift of love. Enjoy it. Disaster relief, you guys prepared for me? You can turn it on. Would I be able to do it from here, or you guys will have to do it for me? I'm going to move very fast in this presentation. It is one of the presentations that was given to us at NAD training in VOAD meeting. This is a course that I'm inviting every single one of you to have. Okay? I come with it because it can be intimidating, but it's not. This is a FEMA course, EIS 100, right? This we do in 2 hours. This whole thing is done in 2 hours, and you can do it online. When you're done online, I wonder if you never taken any of their courses, but have you? You never done any of them? No, okay. You go online, you take any of their courses, and including Sister Mary need to do it as a leader. You take the course, get your certificate, and you learn how to organize yourself when there is a disaster. A church just at Hanson Place. Unfortunately for you guys, you are, unfortunately for you, you have a big name. Okay, because you're Hanson Place. You have a big name. You should have, I walk downstairs where you're serving the food. You do not have some tools in case someone is choking. That is ACS responsibility, to always make sure that you don't want anybody to die here while you're having lunch, because no one is trained how to save somebody's life. So if you don't know it, you guys need to organize, because you are the coordinator for the Brooklyn South, right? No. So Brooklyn North. And then you are over here. You need to at least organize this kind of course here. You can get it from the Red Cross. You can get it from the organization that I serve in, New York State NIDIS. You can have someone to come here and train the members in emergency interventions, such as, what do you call that? The training in case somebody is choking is one. You can have also a training in case somebody is having whatever emergency that you can help the person if they stop breathing, so forth and so on. You need to have something like this going on here. The conference can help sponsor it, but the conference cannot do it for you. You must do it yourself. You must do what is needed for your own church. And as seniors and also as ACS, this is a ministry you can do. Another thing that you guys need to do also here at Hanson Place is defensive driving. Right. You will get a lot of people from the community to come to your church if you offer that class. I think it's just about $35 or $50 to take the course, and you get 10% discount in your insurance. Insurance is very high in Brooklyn. And if you offer it, you share the information in the community, your church will turn white. You will have more white people here than you have ever had in your life. Because this is the community you serve. You bring them here, because they're not going to come to your worship. You might as well bring them here when you're having another service. But you need to create a habit from them to come here. Okay? Offer those kind of courses here for your community. This is something you need to do. Now, in terms of disaster preparedness, when you have your next election, Brother Semper, Sister Murray, you need to remind Pastor Nigel Lewis that ACS involved 3 different departments that is part of ACS. If Sister Murray is the ACS director, she doesn't have to be the food program director. She may be the disaster response person, but not the ACS director. You with me? But you cannot be an ACS director and there is no disaster response and there is no seniors. If the church does not nominate anyone to do it, you are all 3. So at this time, the conference recognized Sister Murray as the director for ACS, director for disaster response, and also senior older members ministry director. Are you with me? But when the church met for election, they did not have that in mind when they nominated her. But from the office, this is our understanding. She's in charge for disaster response. Another word then, if there is a disaster in the Hanson Place area, the city of New York will ask us, who do we have? We will refer them to Sister Murray. And if she has no experience, she will not know what to do. You with me? Any question on that? So during election, the nominating committee can do it, or the church board may choose to do it. But there must be a director for ACS, a director for the food program, and a director for disaster response. Additionally, a director for older members ministry. But the ACS director is over all of these departments. Is that clear? I don't want any one of you not to understand me. Now, in disaster, how is it that Hanson Place must conduct themselves? As soon as January 1, 2025, we are asking every church. When I spoke to Pastor Lewis, I told him that I need the board members to be in attendance this meeting, and also, since he said he wasn't going to be here, if Pastor Jackson could be present also. She's not here. I don't know if she's in her office. We want the officers to be aware of this, because we want the officers, as when you sit together as a board, you will know exactly what both the conference and the division expect of you. ADRA does not serve in North America. And the only place in North America that you find ADRA will be ADRA Canada, but it's still under the leadership of ACS. In Canada, you have ADRA Canada, but in the US, there is no ADRA at all. When there is a disaster, it is ACS that responds. We're the one who respond when there is a disaster. You're with me? If you're donating to any agency for disaster, you give it to ADRA. You don't help yourself, you help outside people. And ADRA is no longer what ADRA used to be. You have ADRA International, and you have ADRA Country Director. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So in other words, if you go to Jamaica, what you will meet will not be ADRA International from the General Conference. It's going to be the country director, who's Pastor Henry, and his office is in the Union, Jamaica Union. You with me? So years ago, what we used to have when we used to do in gathering, we had one ADRA that operated outside of Florida, and then it covers the entire world. Now ADRA International does that, but the local countries have their own ADRA director. And ADRA, the Jamaica ADRA can work together with Spain ADRA or Great Britain ADRA or any other ADRA, including ADRA International. Now that is clear, let me go and talk to you about this presentation. This presentation, as you can read it, it says Emergency Preparedness and Disaster Response for the Northeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, prepared by Pastor Mario Augustave. That is me, incidentally, in case you guys did not know it. We make sure that you have it. Number one now, I want to talk to you about the structure of disaster. It's not moving. I thought it was moving with me going. Is it? Okay, it's now it's hitting structure. Do you have another picture? Because I'm doing it and it's not moving. Okay. Besides structure, let me go back because I'm moving here. You see it? Okay. No, are you the one, is it you that moved that or me? It's you? Okay, you just want me to say next, right? And where's the clicker? This is it? Okay, thank you. Let me see how to move it. Oh, neat. I'm powerful. Look at me. Change it. Okay, let me make it go back. What did I do? Okay, I want to go back. Can you go back to, could you go back? Okay, very good. Now it's working. It seems like you're the one. Okay, go back to the first slides. Let me see. Okay, let me see if I can change it now. Okay. Okay. Now, speaking of the structure, let me put the whole thing up here so you guys can see. By the way, it was very late yesterday when I was working on this, so you probably see some mistakes I didn't get a chance to look at. Now, when there is a disaster, the way it happened in this country, when there is a disaster, the president must declare that whatever happened is a disaster. Once the president declares a disaster area, then funds, federal funds, is available to intervene and take care of whatever is going on. And the government does not just come. The moment that an incident happens, it doesn't mean that FEMA comes with money. That's not how it happens. The federal government allocates funds to the local government, which is the state. The way it's done here in the United States, once the president declares an area to be a disaster declaration, he declares it, what happens right away, the government makes funds available to the states. The funds come through the state, to the state, through FEMA. And the governor is responsible of getting the assistance to the people down to the city and to the local neighborhood. Now, once the state receives the declaration from the president, the state activates VOAD. You remember this morning when you were introducing me, you saw VOAD, you say VOAD, volunteer organization, right? But it's the acronym is VOAD. VOAD is Volunteer Organization Active in Disaster. VOAD is in existence for 50 years. Adventist Community Services is a member of VOAD, Volunteer Organization Active in Disaster, VOAD. VOAD works in conjunction with FEMA, federal agency that operates in disaster. Those of you who are seniors like me, you remember when Carter was president, Carter was the one that put FEMA together as an organization in disaster. Now, once the government declares disaster, the state take over. Unfortunately for Northeastern and for us, the state does not recognize Northeastern. The state of New York recognizes Greater New York, but not Northeastern. Because Northeastern never positioned itself as a Northeastern ACS never positioned themselves as an agency in disaster. Since I came to office, I have yet to do that because I am so busy trying to meet the requirements in order to be recognized by the state. But long ago, Greater New York is recognized by the state. So when there is a disaster, the state will contact Greater New York, and Greater New York will involve us. What is good for Northeastern is the fact that I serve as a board member of VOAD. So if anything is happening, I'm already there. I can get access to whatever is needed for Northeastern. Why is this important? When there is a disaster, the funds come through VOAD to the local agencies. And all of the agencies are faith-based organizations. They call them FBO, faith-based organization. Faith-based organization is the largest type of organization that helps any disaster anywhere in North America. In other words, the federal government, the state government, the city government would not be able to help its citizens properly if there was no faith organizations. Let me explain to you why this is important. This is important because it is the faith-based organizations that have access to the local people. Even though in New York we have community boards, but the community boards are not as popular as the churches and other faith-based organizations such as the Red Cross, Catholic Charities, Adventist Community Services, the Muslim Brotherhood, but the Muslim Society, and so forth and so on. These are faith-based organizations that helps in disaster. When the federal government declares, the state take over, the city of New York, the city emergency network, I also get myself involved in them, and I'm a board member of NIDIS. It is New York Disaster Faith Services. Why do I get myself involved in these organizations? And I even sit in those boards? It's because I want to be useful to you guys. Now, this is significant, very significant. If I go into election next year and the constituency don't nominate me, imagine now you have a new ACS director and they have to start all over again. You with me? This is the reason why Brother Semper served as ACS for life. And Sister Mary, you may be prepared also. It's going to be a long journey until because that we do it because you guys, what the good thing is you're working together because you guys have been working together anyway for forever. So it's really the same government in charge. You just have Putin, you just switch thing and still stay in office. And especially Brother Semper is short. He probably can be the black Putin in some place. But anyway, you have the local neighborhood, the local church with its pastor, ACS leader. Brethren, it's very important that you involve your pastor in ACS. Most of the churches, it's difficult to have your pastor involved. If you guys are having some problem for Pastor Lewis, because I spoke with him, he guaranteed me, he loves his thing, I don't need to talk with him, he's going to be with you. It's important that you invite your pastor, encourage your pastor. As a matter of fact, I told him, I'm going to make sure that you get his T-shirt, and Pastor Jackson get his T-shirt, and also get their stuff so that when you open, the two of them can come and serve. I understand Pastor Jackson is already involved. I hope I have her size here so you can, she can pick up. Anybody know where she is? She's in another meeting, and then she can get her uniform so that when she comes in, she has her uniform. Very important. Okay. I want to share this text with you because you guys may understand what is the association with disaster. We are charged by the Lord God to be ready always, not just for the returning of the Son of Man, according to Matthew 24:44, but to be watchful, steadfast, full of courage, steadfast and strong, say 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13. And again, if you look at Matthew 24:6-8, God asks us to be prepared because we do not know when incident will happen. We can get up tomorrow and then realize that the entire skyscrapers in New York, they are down because the spirit of prophecy did warn that before the end of the world, there will be a major earthquake in New York City. You know that, right? We mentioned it quite a few times. Sister White mentioned that she saw in a vision an earthquake in New York City. That shouldn't be strange. You remember, was it last year when there was the earthquake and a little earthquake in Jersey? Well, no, I live in Connecticut. I felt it. You felt it in Brooklyn too? That was this year? Oh, look at here. I tell you, that's what happened when you get older, you know. You lose track of the years because there's so many of them. So I thought it was last year, but it's true. So it can happen. And when it happens, I remember I lost my mother in an earthquake in Haiti, right? Here's the thing. What was terrible, so terrible about the earthquake in Haiti is that it happened in the evening. Well, anytime is bad. But what happened is when it's about sunset and your day is ending and you have in mind going to sleep, if when it happens around this time, there's no sleep for the rest of the night. Depends how bad it is. You're looking for your loved one under the thing. People don't. It's terrible any time of day. But at the end of the day like this, when it's about to go into sunset, I remember my mother did not die because things fell over her. My mother died because she, after the earthquake, they run outside, and then her medication was left in the house, and she did not have access to her medication. Here's the strange thing about when my mother died in 2010. My mother became sick, and she was really bad. She was in a position of access and authority. We could get a doctor to help her, but the doctor will have to stop helping other people to go help my mother. So we had to make a decision whether the doctor should leave younger people for my mother, who was already in her 70s. You with me? So we made the decision to allow my mother to die. And she did die. Okay? In crisis, you have to make decisions. And I like the fact that each of you need to understand that every emergency is local. Every emergency is local. During the pandemic, it was almost to each his own. When I came here in the midst of the pandemic, one of the first places that I checked was Hanson Place. I went in there that Sunday afternoon. You guys were serving food without mask on. And I remember I walked in, I said, brethren, where are your masks? And you answered, were you there? Were you there when I was there that day? Okay. I walked in there, and I say, your mask, there's a line of homeless people outside. You were moving in the kitchens and so on. Nobody had masks, and people were dying, popping dead like popcorns. And you guys were just serving without caring for yourself. Same thing at Bethel. Same thing at Hebron. When I go, and none of you died where others were dying. Yes, God's grace. Because what you were doing, you were not supposed to do it. You didn't have masks on. Because you didn't have masks. The conference lost thousands of dollars. Because you remember how we were ordering masks from China? They asked us if they have someone who can get masks to us. We spent money. We were coordinating with Greater New York, trying to come up with things. As a result of that, now we have a warehouse. We stockpile masks. We stockpile beds, mattresses. We stockpile a lot of things. But let me do a little commercial at the same time. We have a lot of stuff in our warehouse. I'm going to take some pictures to show you guys. You guys need to get the stuff because they are going out of date. For example, we have tons of hand sanitizers, small bottles, puny little bottles this side, bigger bottles. They are in our warehouse, and we have them for free. I received a shipment of stuff from Staples. If you're moving, you can wrap up your stuff, boxes. I have tons of pallets of boxes and stuff like that. When you're packing, you're moving, you can get for free. We have overall, if you're painting your house, you put on you so you don't dirty your clothes. We have a bunch of stuff in the warehouse. It will be good one day, Brother Semper, you'll go up there and see what is up there you can use and bring for yourself. Okay, we have a huge warehouse in Connecticut that is available to you, but there is no ACS without space for storage and for whatever you may need. When Pastor Joseph was pastoring this church, I came to his office and I asked him to please, the next time you're doing any kind of renovation in this place, you make room intentionally for ACS. Because the first time when you guys were putting the building here, I intervened, and I remember Elder Semper and I, we had conversation that they were supposed to give you a space over there. I was shocked when I found out that they moved you guys into the closet. And then now there is a hope that you're going to go to someplace else. And to think, I hope that your church understand. I can talk politics because when you get a little older, you don't mind if they put you out of office because you'll find something else to do. So I think you guys can do better than that. Seriously. Because the community where you are is a very progressive community. There is no reason for this church to only be a black community service. There are too many white people who would love to do community work with y'all. Seriously. When I was doing the testing and the vaccination during COVID, what I find the most encouraging was that the white community partnered with us everywhere we go. They follow us wherever we go, and they don't mind serving with us. I remember there was a lot of talking about, there was a lot of people who are gay who were wearing our uniform. Some people think that it's not a good image for the church. I don't know how it's not a good image for the church because they're serving. You understand? They are serving. If they are serving with us, they wear our uniform. But some of you don't like to see men walking like this with Adventist uniform, right? You don't. But it makes you feel uncomfortable. Well, get over it. Because if they're there, they're helping people, they're fine. And let me say this to you, you can understand. I have 3 boys. If any of them begin to be like this, I'm not putting them out of my house. I'm going to love them the same way. Tim is my boy. And if Tim say to me, Pastor, I'm gay, I say, too bad. I will tell him too bad. But I'm not going to stop loving Tim because of that. No, that's not going to happen. God's love for us is unconditional. I cannot explain this homosexual thing because I know what the Bible says. I know what the Bible says. What the Bible says is what the Bible means. But at the same time, I know how God is and I know how I feel. Now, what he's going to do with that, that's his business. But I'm not going to do God's way. This is the reason why the Apostle Paul said to us, do not do the harvest. God's going to send angels to do the harvest. All we have to do is sow seed and water. And then the Holy Spirit will do the harvest. Now, who's going to be saved? I don't know. I don't know if Hitler is going to be in heaven. Because if Hitler is in heaven, he's sitting next to me, I'm not going to be happy about that, you know. But I'm not going to leave heaven because Hitler is there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, there are some people in the church, you know, who used to give me a hard time when I pastored their church, you know. And they're going to be in heaven. And knowing the way the Lord is, he might put them right next to me in heaven. Those who give me the hardest humiliating thing. Hey, listen, this is why Jonah, I can understand why Jonah did not want to obey the Lord. Because if I was Jonah, I probably would tell him find somebody else too. Because God has a bad habit. He's too kind. Because Jonah did tell the Lord that the Lord is going to embarrass him because the Lord is going to he's going to send him there to say he's going to destroy, and the Lord's going to repent and don't destroy it and make him look like a fool. And the Lord did exactly that. So Jonah was right. So when it comes to these things, brethren, don't change the message. God does not change his message. He says what he says. Our job is to love everybody and to be open to anybody. Let him do whatever he's going to do with his word. He didn't give us the assignment to choose who's going to go to heaven for him, okay? So every emergency is local. Every emergency that happened in this area belongs to your church, not to Northeastern, okay? Look at the word. The word is local. It's the local group, not the federal, not the city, not the state, not Northeastern. It's here. You're responsible for your people. The conference is responsible to provide you the resources. I explained this to you. All disasters started from the federal, and it's also going the other direction. How is the other direction works? Is that your report. You need to report to us what's going on. For example, the work that ACS is doing here in Hanson Place, this work belongs to the Seventh-day Adventist Church, not to Hanson Place. It's important that you understand that. The reason why we want all ACS to be under one EIN is because the work is the work of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And we need to have your reports so that we can show everybody what the church is doing. General Conference doesn't do any work. The union doesn't do any work. My office doesn't do any work. We provide resources for you to do your work. You understand? We are a resource organization. We don't do the work. It is the local church that does the work. But when you do the work, you don't report it to us. It says that Adventist is not doing anything. Does that make sense? Any question? Okay. It seems like I'm great because nobody's asking questions. I thought you guys will have questions for me. Okay. This is the way we work, everybody. So the local church need to report to us so that GC looks good. GC cannot look good unless the local church report the activities that's going on. GC can do all the rules they want to do. If the local church doesn't choose to follow the rules, it has no meaning. Very important that we understand that. It begins with the local church, the local conference, from the local conference to the union, from the union to the division, and from the division to the general conference. In the United States, we work together with Homeland Security. Every year, we have our meetings. It goes to different places. We will meet there, the Homeland Security Secretary, together with FEMA. We will meet in the area. This year, we had our meeting in Phoenix, Arizona. We talk about disaster, when disaster happens, what to do. For instance, you all remember last month, the big flood that happened in Connecticut? Okay. That's Northeastern Territory, by the way. And it was very bad. I live in Connecticut. I receive a lot of phone calls that happen to me. I live in Southern Connecticut. But what happened in Northern Connecticut. It was really bad. Northeastern was not too involved because in the New London area, we have no churches. We don't get too involved. But we are part of what there. We participate in their meeting. We go to help them out. But we didn't have any church to be active over there. Whenever there is an emergency, this is the headquarters of FEMA, and this is the headquarters of the local FEMA in state. In the conference office last October, we had a disaster in Brooklyn. You remember it, right? Hello, anybody? What was the disaster that happened in New York City last October? You don't remember. We had flooding. The area that was affected by the flood last October, it was primarily Coney Island and Far Rockaways. Now, a lot of you may not be aware, especially those of you who live in an East New York area. There is one area that is very famous for Caribbeans, that is in Brooklyn, that is a flood area. Could you guess what the name of that area? Canarsie. If you live in Canarsie, you own a property in Canarsie, and you don't have flood insurance, you better get yourself some, because it's coming. Okay? If you know anyone who lives in Canarsie, they don't have flood insurance, tell them rent the basement so they can raise money. Listen, you probably say that it's illegal to live in the basement in New York City. You don't think the mayor knows that? And you think they're going to send people to inspect to put people out of their basement apartment? If they do that, this crisis for housing we have in New York is going to get worse. They all know people live in the basement. But when there is a hurricane, if you have people living in your basement and it's flooded, you're going to have to find a place for them to stay because they pay their rent and it's flooded. They need a place to stay. You need to have flood insurance. What happened last October, when there was the flooding in New York City, the two areas, Coney Island and Far Rockaway, there was no flooding in the other, what is it you just said again? Canarsie. There was none in Canarsie, thank God. But what we did, I called Gordon Johns, and we opened an emergency response team at the conference office. How is that done? The moment the governor declared a disaster for the city of New York, I called the conference president. I called Dr. Jules. I said, Dr. Jules, the city declared disaster. Two of our churches are flooded, and we need you to give me permission to declare a disaster for Northeastern. Dr. Jules gave me permission. I called the cadets. I said that we have been activated. Dr. Jones get his key into the conference office, and we had a 24 hours operation in the conference office in case of disaster. Because of the disaster. What happened is any of our members could call the 800 number and find assistance from my office. I don't know if Brother Semper knows that as coordinator, but they're supposed to know that we have been activated and we are working. We have a WhatsApp group, and we communicate with everybody through the WhatsApp group. Welcome, Pastor Jackson. So this is what we do in case of disaster in the conference office. During the pandemic, some of you did not know this because I was new in my position, but I had a 24 hours hotline to pray with nurses and medical personnel for our churches. And it was for the conference office. Anyone could call. But most of our people did not know, but those who knew made good use of it. During the pandemic, it was so frightening. I know Adventists who were nurses and nurse assistants who were afraid to go to work. There was a young lady in Long Island. She was a nurse. And every time she's getting ready to go to work, she hit with panic attack. Because people were just dying like crazy. And there were doctors dying too, and nurses dying too. And we established, I called Dr. Elder, what's his name, over at Greater New York. We coordinate together as one Adventist church, and we run a hotline for all Adventists. We will be praying 24 hours with our nurses, with our doctors, with our everybody together all the time from the conference office. That is disaster preparedness. This was part of the work that we do as ACS that is called emotional and spiritual support training. You took that course? You did not take it? You have not taken it either. You need to take it. In time of disaster, you will need to know how to approach people and console them and help them to manage what's going on in their lives. And again, just like you see the pandemic happen overnight and New York was the epicenter, it may happen again this year or next year. And we need to be prepared for it. We have the training, and I said to you, you're going to go to the FEMA webpage, and I encourage Pastor Jackson to do it. Go to the FEMA stuff. I'm going to share it with you in this one. Go to their website, take the course, learn what to do when there is a disaster. This is the FEMA headquarters. Whenever there is a disaster, as there is right now, because there's always a disaster happening somewhere in the United States, and you need to know that there are people working, helping people in disaster. Now, this is the way the federal government split the country in disaster. This map is by FEMA. FEMA put it together. These are regions. And if you notice carefully, Northeastern occupies Region 1 and Region 2. You belong in Region 2 because you are in the New York area. You see it there? Now, because we cover both New England and New York State, we are part of Region 1 and Region 2. I go to both meetings. This is part of the reason why we're going to split this conference. We're going to bring a vote before you to split the conference. The territory is just too big for us. So when that happened, depending on where they sent me, I might be only in Region 1 or be only in Region 2. Now, as you look at it, you see all the region going all the way to California, Nevada region with Region 9. This is how FEMA split the work. This is what we call the VOAD FEMA regional area. Emergency, 15 emergency support function. They call it the ESF. Okay? You see all these things here, how FEMA split us together to do the work. Whenever there is a disaster, most of the time, you guys don't pay attention. You see those two areas we circle there, the mass care, housing, human services, and also you see public health and medical services. These are the things that the local church need to do. Next year, I'm going to have a training at Victory Lake for all my ACS leaders. We're going to go there from Friday. We're going to start our training from Friday to Sunday morning. We're going to finish Sunday afternoon at 2. There's only one event like this we're going to do next year. One training. I want you to the entire weekend. Why we doing this like this? Because next year is going to be a very busy year for Seventh-day Adventists. For Northeastern more particularly, because not only we're going to have election in the conference office, we're going to have general conference session, and it is the 75th anniversary of the conference, and there is one more. I don't remember what it is. So it's going to be a very busy year. There will be no year we were going to do a convention again. We cannot do the convention. This is next year. It's going to be a very special year, and I need you guys to begin to prepare. Sometime around Martin Luther King's birthday weekend, we're going to have one training, and we need to explain this emergency things here that pertain mostly to you, especially when it comes to mass care, housing and human services, and flip over to public health and medical services. You need to know where those are so that where there's an emergency, if there's an emergency, senior or young people don't know what to do, they call Pastor Jackson. Pastor Jackson will be able to tell them where to go for help. Or you will be able, if Pastor Jackson, coming from California, she doesn't know, she called you, Sister Murray, you need to tell her where it's going to be. Now, the good thing going for her is that she has me, but it doesn't mean that she will always reach me because I also belong to everybody else. But you guys are her extension. There are certain things you need to, when she needs them, you need to provide her with the information for it. There is the third part at the bottom that is called recovery mitigation. Brethren, these are important also because these are part of what is called the disaster preparedness. That when there is recovery and mitigation, that you know how these things are done. Let me put it into the 5 steps in emergency. Do you see it? You have preparedness, you have response, you have recovery, you have prevention, you have mitigation. All these things you need to know with regard to disaster, which comes when. Preparedness is important if you want to have response. In other words, if you do not prepare, you're not going to be able to respond to emergency. And if you guys don't have a conversation as a church, when there is a disaster, what we're going to do, you need to have a business meeting where you discuss this. Seriously, brethren. When we used to there was a time we used to just come to church to meet Jesus. Those days are over. You don't use church anymore just to meet Jesus. You must come together as a community to help one another. It is the Lord's command that we do that. We must do that. If this community here have some issue and you have this huge building that is open only twice a week and they need to meet, You need to make sure that you open it up so they can have their meetings to discuss how to help one another. You're part of this community. And you need to know what to do. You need to have a protocol exactly in emergency what you're going to do in emergency. If some of your members live in Canarsie, they flooded, are you just going to pray for them? Is that it? Pray for them? It doesn't make sense. Let me share something with you. Pastor Jackson, I was pastoring a church that is called Emmaus. It's in East Flatbush area. One day I was getting ready. I'm telling you because you know, because Elder Sempers know that I was a pastor of Emmaus on Flatbush. I was a pastor of the church. One day we were getting ready to go on a platform. My head deacon at that time was Brother Richard. Brother Richard come and say, Pastor, there's a gentleman outside who needs to see you. I said, Brother Richard, come on, man. You know we're about to go on a platform. Tell him after service I'll talk to him. He said, no, Pastor. He said he has to see you now because I already tell him that you're busy, you're getting ready to go on a platform. And he said he has to see you. And I said, Brother Richard, come on, man. You know I cannot do that. He said he's one of your brothers. I quickly understand he means that he's Haitian. The brethren do this to me all the time, you know. Whenever they say Haitian is one of my brothers. I said, sure then. Let me go see what my Haitian brother needs. And I tell him to ask a man to come to my office. He came to my office and he said to me, Pastor Gustav, I need your help. My daughter went to school yesterday and she never came back. I said, but why you come to me? Why don't you talk to your pastor? And he said, I did. But he just called the elders to pray for me. Well, why you guys say, oh, what do you think she's going to do? No, for real. If any of you, it happens to you, you go to Pastor Jackson. Sister Pastor, can you tell me what you're going to do? It's true. You're going to pray. Because most of you don't put anything together. Anybody knows the mayor's cell number? Anybody knows the borough president's number in this big church with a big name? Any one of y'all know anybody? No, I ain't gonna give you nothing. But do you understand what I'm saying? You need to prepare. Understand this if it is your child. If your beautiful baby here is missing, she goes to school, somebody kidnap her, and you have nobody to turn to, nobody to talk to help you out. I mean, y'all make no preparation at all. You see what I'm saying? This is part of the gospel. Be ready always, for you know not the hour when the pandemic will hit. Now, you know it says about Jesus, but until Jesus comes, you better be ready for the thing. Because,
Well, Pastor, don't you call the police? Don't you call the
which police you gonna call? Who you talking to me?
If your child is missing,
My child?
the person who came to you.
You?
No, me, no, I'm calling 911 straight. I'm not. No.
Oh, you done, girl.
I'm not coming to you. I'm calling the police.
Uh-huh.
Right?
And then when they come, they shoot your daughter, then what?
No, they don't shoot nobody.
Yeah, sure they don't.
No, they don't.
Let me explain this that you understand. Disaster happens.
But you're talking about a missing person, right? That's a disaster, but
Missing person is a disaster.
I said it's a disaster.
A police officer accidentally kill your daughter is a disaster too.
See, I can't think like that.
Don't think like that. I have to.
I'm not. I can't think like that. Not in that situation. I'm not running to the pastor if my child is missing.
Okay.
While I'm praying, I'm calling the police. I'm calling whomever I need to call to go look for my child. You understand? So, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and that is true. That is a fact. That does happen. I'm not gonna waste valuable time coming to a pastor, looking for a pastor, you know, to go look for my child that he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call the
Okay.
police.
We're going to do a case study around, let's do a case study about her argument, okay? Look at it. There is if you listen to her, there is a part cultural thing that is coming through there. If someone were to ask me, since I don't know you, you don't know me, I would assume that you're African American. I'm not. I'm Haitian American, right? How do I reach the conclusion that you must be African American? Though you may not be. But where did I reach that conclusion? I assume from the way you are reasoning on this one. Let me explain to you. This guy, his daughter's missing, he called the police. He did. He called 911. He couldn't sleep at night. I mean, nobody here would be able to sleep. If your baby girl went to school in the morning, she never came back, it's Friday night, and then you singing that the sun is setting, is welcome the Sabbath. Because you're welcoming the Sabbath and your baby is missing. You went to the police. What do the police do when you have a missing child? They ask you to wait 24 hours before they start looking.
It depends on the age of the child.
Okay, pick an age. Pick any age.
12, 11.
Okay, the child is 11. You report it to the police. What's next?
You report it to the police, you report it to the police, they come to your house, they look in your house, they look in your building, they go to the neighbors, they do a search. And while they're doing a search, you're praying, you're calling people.
Which people are you calling?
You're calling your friends, your family, your neighbors, you're calling whomever can help you look for your child.
Okay, here's what she's saying. Once the child is missing, she reports to the police. She pulled from her resources. She put together a network of people, right? Okay. Do you have this here? The way the white brethren do it, once it's happened, they call each other. A lot of time, these people have the contact, and they all get out there, they begin to work their network. I have never seen it done among our people.
Oh, well, I don't know where you live.
I live in Northeastern.
I'm saying, I don't know what neighbor you see. I'm from Harlem.
Right. And you also African American. It's in your culture. This is what you do.
This is what we do.
Right.
If you're in my neighborhood and your child is missing, we get the name, his friends, family, enemies.
Pause for a moment.
and all that. So we do.
Do you see this? Pause for a moment. Have you ever experienced that here in Hanson Place? Help me out. What she says is true. This is my experience with African Americans. But most of us are Caribbeans. We don't have that culture. But what you don't know, your culture is vastly becoming like our culture. More so than us becoming like you. This is the reason why I'm saying to you, we need to adopt some of what she has. Because we need to come together when there is a disaster so that we know what to do as a people. We need to know what to do. And brethren, it's not going to come from the conference office, from my office. Dr. King will not do it. He assigned me to do it. And my job is to encourage you to do it, but the people really going to do it is us. You see what happened is, if you have it in your culture, we need you to help us pull it together. Whenever there is a disaster, we call women's ministry director, we call this director, and we can pull together in disaster. But I'm asking you, if you have not seen Sister for weeks, we haven't seen her in church. She's been missing for 2 Sabbaths. Somebody will need to know who to contact because she hasn't been. She can be not coming to church for 2 weeks. None of you know, that she's been missing for church for 2 weeks.
Let me give you a prime example.
Before you go there. Yeah. Yes.
This happened a couple of months ago. It was spring. So So in Ephesus Church, you know, like we honor our elderly, you know, our seniors, and we know them very well.
Yes.
So we have a senior who never made it to church, and we're like, where is this person? Find out she left home, she got in a cab, and I don't know how we gathered this information, but come to find out, she got in a cab, coming to church, never made it to church. She didn't have her wallet, her pocketbook, or whatever. The cab driver put her out. Now, this is in Harlem. This is uptown where I live. The cab driver put this 99-year-old woman out because she could still travel on her own with her walker in the rain. So what do? The church organized, looked for her on the feet, calling and everything. So a couple went driving around her neighborhood. They went all the way to her neighborhood. I think she lived in the Bronx. Followed her path, found her on 135th Street and Lenox Avenue, sitting in the bus stop and she gets to Sabbath school, so that had to be from like 8:30 till about church was out. We started looking for her about 4 or 5, you know, or something like, no, I'm sorry, about 3 or 4 when church was out. They found her in the rain, soaking wet, sitting in the bus stop, you know. So I'm saying all that just to say that you say it's cultural, I think it's demographics, because it's multicultural in our church, you know, and even in my neighborhood. And all I'm saying is that, you know, I just don't like that stereotype, because we do look out for one another. You know, we do help each other.
When you say we, who do you include in this personal point?
I'm talking about us as a people. I don't care if you.
Which us, human being or blacks?
I'm talking about blacks, I'm talking about Haitians, Black Americans, Hispanic, Indian. This is
you say that this is natural for us.
This is
and I'm saying
natural.
to you, you're wrong.
Okay,
okay.
But
let me explain to you. And this is important that we know that she's wrong.
In a general way, yes.
In a general way. But we want to move in that direction. There is something that you say that is correct. It may be demographic also, because Harlem is a community. Hanson Place is not. Even though Hanson Place is a community, most of you are foreigners here. You just come to church here, you don't live here.
Communals.
You understand? So having to understand, even for example, I live in Connecticut, but my office is in New York. I have to behave and think as if I live in New York. The only thing I don't do in New York is vote. Understand full well, Hanson Place, I beg you. If people like yourself or any one of you who will listen to my message today, start the ministry yourself. Don't wait for a board to meet to do it. Start organizing. Your pastor and them will support you. But we need to support one another.
You want to say something?
And get to know each other.
Pastor, I'm raising my hand.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
I don't see that far. I did say
yeah,
that.
I sort of felt a little pinch when you said that we don't necessarily have that as a culture in the Caribbean. Not necessarily so.
Okay.
Because I'm from Jamaica.
Yes.
And we do have communities. We have our neighborhood watch. We have other watches that we look out for persons. So it's not necessarily so. Let me explain.
Yes.
So what I do find is that within churches sometimes we get so caught up in Christianity, and when we come to church, we get so extremely religious that we forget sometimes that the person who didn't come last week, and we need to look for them. Sometimes, sometimes the only day you have actually is Sabbath. So the most ideal thing that we do in my church is that we take a little time out to go.
Slow down. Watch, you say in my church.
Pardon?
Where is your church?
My church is in Jamaica.
No,
So
no.
I'm saying to you,
Stop.
I-
Say stop. Just 1 second. You say in your church, you live in Jamaica?
I live in Jamaica.
You don't live in the-
I am visiting here today.
You're visiting here?
Yeah.
Stop for a second. Okay. I just left Jamaica.
Yes.
When I was in Mandeville, I met with a gentleman who's responsible for coordinating in disaster. You have that in Jamaica. We're speaking about Brooklyn, New York, more specifically Hanson Place. In America, specifically Brooklyn, you kind of brush into it a little bit when you say we only have Sabbath.
Yes, because
Okay.
I am speaking not only from, it's what I've observed visiting the different churches when I come to
This
the
country.
United States,
Yeah.
but what we do even in Jamaica, most times most persons don't have the actual time. They're busy. You're 9 to 5 and sometimes beyond 9 to 5, and so the time you don't even have time to reach out to someone.
Let me start
The
here.
only problem, I'm
Let me
just giving
start.
you.
Don't give it to me. No, hold. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna go in the direction you're going. Here's why. Because I wanna do this, and I wanna make sure that you understand where we're coming from. You cannot understand because you're not from here. The context in your understanding is totally different from the context here. Even me from Connecticut may not fully understand what it's like for this area. You understand what I'm saying? In the context of area. You see, when you mention what it's like in Harlem, it may work in Harlem and cannot work here in Brooklyn. Because there are some folks, when they're going in disaster, they don't want people to know their business. There are people who are sick. They will come and say, Pastor, I only tell you, I don't want the church to know that I am sick. There are people in crisis. They do not want people. I know a family. The son suffered with schizophrenia. He went missing for a month. He begged me not to tell anyone. She begged me not to tell anyone because she doesn't want anyone in the church to know that any member of her family suffered with mental illness. Nobody went looking for him because she did not want anyone to know there are people with mental illness in her family. You with me?
We have a question
If
here.
a mother can, because of her reputation, allowed her son to go missing for a month because she doesn't want people to know. Do you see how bad this? Well, I don't want to say bad. Do you see how it is? So even as we speak of preparedness, we speak of response, we must see it in the context of culture. We will do what we need to do, but we cannot go beyond what is available to us. Yes?
You have a question?
She had her hands. I'm going to come back to you, okay?
I just want to contribute to what's going on here.
Please.
So, see if we could get at some understanding
Quickly,
more.
quickly.
I'm just saying that sometimes we look at it from a small spectrum, but if we look at it at a larger spectrum, we'll see where there are two groups that we really fall under. So when we go on one is the individualism and the other one is family. So when we go on the individualism and the church go on the individualism, that's when there's a lot of divisiveness. Yes. And when we go on the family, that's when we are more accountability and people become closer and the togetherness and the community is there. Might.
And not only that.
Somebody up here?
Okay, yeah, let me recognize her first. Quickly, okay, let's go quickly, okay? And I'll come back.
I want us to remember one thing. Sis, they're not hearing you, so hold on a minute. Hold on. I'm coming.
I think as we, as a children of God, we have to show love for each other. We have to show we care for each other. I'll just give you an example. I'm just visiting here. My current church, I've been going there for over 30-something years. It's part of the Greater New York Conference, but it's a Caribbean congregation. And they know that I am alone. They know that I have nobody in New York. And I did not go to church about 2 Sabbaths ago. I wasn't feeling well at all, so I didn't go. And before the end of the Sabbath, somebody from church called me and found out if I'm okay. And then the next few days, one of the elders called me. And I told him I just wasn't feeling well. But today, I didn't go to church, our church, because they have camp meeting in Camp Berkshire. And I said, I don't want to stay home again. Let me come here. Because I know here is a Caribbean area. So I think it's important that we all look out for each other. Yes, you don't have to tell them the whole Nancy story of your life.
Let me stop you and go to the next person. Here's the reason why she says is very important.
Yes.
What we're saying beyond when you mention individualism and then family or group, if you do it in a context of sociology, the way she explained, somebody called because it may be part of the culture of the church while these individuals are alive. If you were to remove these individuals from the epicenter of the church, nobody will contact her. What we are saying to you, you need to organize where there is a structure that is responsible to look and to report. You understand? So you remove the individuals and we make it a family. Whenever we come to church, when you have a seniors ministry, if one of you is not here, you already have so-and-so is not here. And then you contact, because the pastor, there's no way the pastor can have his eyes on everybody or eyes on everybody. Yes, ma'am.
When you say that we could use the church to help the community, we benefit from it because my kids and I, we went to Camp Away and our campsite was flooded, our camp was destroyed. The Mormon church, they opened their school and the Gillette community in Wyoming in August, they came with blankets and all they helped us serving the Adventists, the whole community. So if they did it for us, I think we could do it for the community. The other thing is we're not a community anymore. We don't have Sabbath school the way we used to because Sabbath school was organized by neighborhood. If you in my neighborhood, I come and I don't see you, I'm going to look for you. Now we're scattered. And we know that people from Hanson Place, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, everywhere. So that's not a community.
Thank you so much. Let me go to you back there.
Come in there.
Yes. Thank you.
I agree with you, Pastor. We coming from a background we were not oriented. And what you are saying is what we need. Because it was on the news a couple months or some year gone back, not too far. The mother called the police. Our son have a mental problem. She called and said, our son have a knife in his hand and he wants to hurt her. She did not mention he has a mental problem. They come thinking is someone in the right mind. They told him, drop the knife. He won't drop it. He went after them. They shot him, and you know where they learn to shot you? In the middle of your chest. He died. Everybody blamed the police. She did not mention, because in the reporter, when they question it, they give what the voice stated, never stated he had a problem in his head.
And thank you so much. And understand full well, we need to train our people how to behave in this. I want to move forward on this one because there's so much information that come on, man, come on. Yeah. Oh, too fast.
Pastor, I don't want them to miss the point is we have to have a plan.
We have, I say it, and I
But
can,
they're not
if
getting-
you
I'm
notice,
not
I keep
getting it.
referring to the
Yes.
two of you. Can you take me back, please, one slide? I don't know how to move this backward. Oh, this is backward? No, it's not. One slide back, one more. Thank you, okay. Okay, great. Okay, it's a question of preparedness. Make a plan so that when somebody's missing 2, 3 Sabbaths, you'll know. And again, Sister Murray, because the nominating committee hasn't done it, you and Elder Semper need to sit together and begin to put together senior ministry. And go to Pastor Lewis, say, Pastor Gassab, when he was here, and Pastor Gassab spoke to you, let's get this going. You have to start, even if it's only 3 or 4, because you also can organize. It's CWC, we just organize it. You have a church, your own church, not too far in Brooklyn, on Church Avenue. They organize a senior ministry. During the summer, they met twice a week. During the weekdays, the seniors come together. They do arts and craft. They do activities so that the seniors don't stay home all alone. There's activity going on in the church. You are about to say.
Yeah, what I was saying is for Hanson Place, we do have seniors ministry. Okay. But what we are saying is having a plan in case there is a disaster, which makes a big difference.
No, in case if.
When? So, yes, they do. So what I see you introducing is that what you have started, but you have to improve on it and make sure that you take care of everybody.
That is correct.
In case.
And you cannot do it without your pastor. What is strange about the Adventist church, the pastors are key. Once a pastor don't support something, it's very difficult for it to succeed.
So true.
I don't say impossible, difficult. Therefore, it's important that you get your pastor and perhaps the most powerful person in the church. Because the reality, there are some people, they're just powerful. They have big mouth. They can speak and people listen. So if you need to use them, use them. Okay, look at this. I want you to look at the director and all this stuff. I don't think this is too important for me to do it. The American Red Cross. The American Red Cross is an organization just like ACS. The reason why the American Red Cross get things done is because they purpose in their mind, we're going to do this. They are expert whenever. Notice what they said. The American Red Cross is the #1 non-governmental organization in America. They're #1. Billions of dollars they receive from the government. They are a not-for-profit organization. And notice what we have here. All other unmet needs that fall outside of the government's purview may be fulfilled by other NGOs or FBOs. You remember I told you what FBOs are, right?
Yeah, faith-based.
Faith-based organizations. And it falls into it. This is some of the things they mentioned here, the FBOs. It explained it. I don't need to go any further in it. I put together this list so that you can see some of them, who they are. It's very important that you guys understand this. When there is a disaster, all of us are involved, including some of these things. We more than 50 altogether. This is just a few we put there. All of us are involved. But what you need to know, the reason why sometimes you don't see the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the assignment FEMA gave us as Seventh-day Adventist Church, we are expert in 2 areas: warehouse management, emotional and spiritual support. Now, this is the reason why every year we must offer a course on warehouse management, so that when there is a disaster, the Adventists are the one that runs the warehouses for FEMA. You with me? Mm-hmm. So whenever I'm doing a training, I ask you to come. If the President of the United States activate us, the state activate us, and then the city of New York activate us, and then I activate you, you have to come. You cannot say, Pastor, I can't come. You have to come. That's why you will train, so that when there's an emergency, you're the one who's going to be running the donation management. When we receive the donation, for example, when the hurricane hit the Caribbeans, people were calling me left and right, Pastor, what is Northeastern going to do? And folks wanted to start collecting clothing and other things. Listen, it's one thing Baba don't do. I don't collect clothing. You know why? The moment you begin to collect clothes, you're going to receive teddy bears too. And you're going to receive some toys too. And you're going to receive tons of diapers. And they're going to be nothing but garbage for you to pay somebody to get rid of for you.
So true.
When there is an emergency, Northeastern more than likely will not be collecting clothes. We'll collect your money. We buy clothes with it. But we're not going to collect your clothes. Let me say something to you about clothes. You see this suit? I like it. But I'm not going to wait until I no longer like it to give it away. I must give it away while it's still good.
Really like it.
So by this time next year, you will not see me with this again. Because I must give it for somebody, just like my car. When the car reaches a certain age, you need to change it so that somebody else who cannot afford a brand new car get to ride a nice, clean car. If you're going to give out clothes, don't wait until the shirt begin to lose color, or when the shoes begin to, my foot cannot go all the way up there anymore. So don't wait until your shoes can no longer look the same. No, give it while it's still good. That's when you donate it.
Yeah.
Now, when you donate some clothes to us, if they are not almost new, we don't want it. It's not because the people are in need that they should wear your garbage. You with me? Mm-hmm. Donate them when they're good. Or don't even bother bringing them to the office. I don't want it. A lot of us, we have sentimental feelings about the old table our grandmama died and lived for you. Well, you like it?
Keep it.
Then go with it into an antique show or something. But it's not necessarily for the donation. Not that it has no value, but the fact is, before we can get someone to evaluate it and give what it's worth to us and stuff like that, it requires the manpower that we do not have. Do I make sense? Okay. It's to recognize who we are. These organizations, they're responsible for different things. When there is a fire in Harlem, and then you don't have a place to stay, which organization you think is going to feed you? The Red Cross. Which organization is going to find you a place to stay? The Salvation Army. The Salvation Army. Because they all have certain things that we know them by that. But the Red Cross has billions of dollars. When there was a shooting in Buffalo, we immediately relocated to Buffalo. And we met at a facility that is owned and run by the Red Cross. The building by itself is worth several $100 million they own. If they were to sell that building, they can feed the Adventist Church for years. That's how powerful and big they are. Okay? The Salvation Army, Catholic Charities, you all know how big Catholic Charities is. And so forth and so on, the Jewish and all the stuff, the Muslim and what have you. So the idea is it's up to us Adventists. And brethren, do not wait on the conference and others to do it. Conference don't build churches. It is the churches that build churches. You have to start thinking this way. Meeting the basic needs of the people, food, water, and other basic needs distribution in the community, by the communities. Organize and participate in community-led long-term recovery group. It is from us. We're here to provide you resources. We don't do the work. We provide you resources. You elect me. You elected me. You also pay my salary for me to tap into resources to make available to you, for you to do the work. But the conference doesn't do the work. Whenever you talk about conference doing it, guess who you're talking about? Not Dr. King now. Not Dr. Ricardo de la Haye. You're talking about me. Because I'm ACS director. These people don't do anything. As a matter of fact, when something's going, they call Mario, what do you think? What are we doing here? What is the conference going to do? They try to find out what the conference is going to do, because that's my assignment. Distribute, donate product doing rebuilding and recovery, and offer spiritual care. Do you notice this? It's very important that you understand when there is a disaster, people often want to pray. Even if they don't believe, they lack the comfort that comes with prayer. So when there was 9/11, I was a pastor in Coney Island. My church was open every night for people to come and just listen to a sermon and have prayer. So the church grew. Now we have a challenge. Most of us attend church remotely. So when there is a problem, there is no one to contact you, because you haven't been in church for a while. You watch online, you send your tithes, if we're lucky, and the only person that have your information is the treasurer, because you return your tithes and offering, but we don't know anything what's going on in your life. So we need to talk. Brethren, we need to talk, because we're in trouble. We need to talk. I am responsible for a vast conference. It's huge. When I have my meetings, SEPA needs to be there, because I cannot come to Hanson Place but once a year. I have not been to Western New York yet this year, and I must get to Western New York before the year is over. So I cannot come back here. And you know what happened to me this morning? Brother Semper was the first to find out. I was supposed to preach at 2 places today. Is that possible? Yeah, when I was in heaven, I was able to do that, but I'm not in heaven anymore, so I cannot do that. You with me? So another church is very upset now, because they were all prepared for me, and I'm not there. I'm here instead. Okay? Understand why this is important. The Seventh-day Adventist Church needs you to understand this. I'm going to put the mic down, because I must use my hands now. I don't know if Brother Semper will help me. Brethren, I beg you, in Christ's name. Where's Pastor Jackson? He's not here. Could somebody hear him? We need to understand we are an organization just like every other organization. You cannot be running such a successful food program and there is no sign outside to indicate it. You are doing a fantastic job. You spend hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. It may not be your church dollars, but it's the government tax money. And nobody knows you have a food program. It's a very important food program for the city and for the Adventist Church. You have no sign outside indicating this. The sign from my office, we have them at different prices. The most expensive one is $130. Beautiful sign. The reason why it's $130, that's what they charge to make it. The reason why you must get it from us, because we want to make sure it's done properly the way it should be done. So you get it, you put it outside, they know your hours and everything. Professional look like every Wednesday, every Sunday, you have some kitchen from this time to this time, underneath, all welcome. And it must display this, who we are. When the Red Cross is doing it, you see their logo. When we are doing it, they must see the shield. The shield is the Adventist Church. Hanson Place is not the Adventist Church. It's a congregation in the Adventist Church. You must have the shield out there so that every time there is something going on, folks will see the Adventist is represented here in Hanson Place. And when they go to East Flatbush, they're going to see the Adventist church represented at Flatbush Church. When they go to East New York, they're going to see the Adventist church represented at Cornerstone or East Flatbush. You understand? We don't to be too concerned about Hanson Place. Concerned about the Adventist church. That's your church. Wherever you are Adventist. So outside, they must see this. This is the reason why it is a requirement. Whenever we are open, everyone must have their uniform. Now, folks ask us, why don't the conference give the uniform free? We agree. But if we were to give free uniform to all of our churches, we wouldn't be able to pay the pastors. And how am I going to pay my mortgage if you're Amen. Amen. Are you with me? Another one, we need to understand, it's not that the conference doesn't want to. I want to have grants so that I can give you free t-shirts. But understand, listen to this. I can get a grant to get you free t-shirts. But if you don't send me your reports, I cannot demonstrate to the government that I'm doing the job. It is the report that you send. Then when I go to the Senate building in Washington, D.C., I show them we're feeding hundreds of thousands of people. You are so happy with Hanson Place feeding 150. I'm not concerned about the 150. I am concerned about the 1,000 when we all come together. Stop thinking small, think big. But in disaster, this is who we are in disaster. During the pandemic, all of us wear this uniform. When they would not allow anyone into where the World Trade Center was, once we walked in with this, they just asked us for our badge and we walked in. During the pandemic, there was food where they get food distribution. We would load up our trucks. All we need to do is to have this t-shirt and say, Reverend, go in. And that's it, because we wear the uniform. They recognize the uniform, and underneath of it, I have make sure we have this Northeastern Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, because they know that they have Northeastern, they have Greater New York. Are you with me? But you must wear the uniform. The conference asks you to do it, not because we want to be a pain in the neck. No, we want you to do it so that we can facilitate a better representation of who we are. Amen. Okay? We need you to understand this. We've been in existence for 15 years. Most of you are still running ACS as if it's Dorcas Society. We no longer Dorcas Society. We are Adventist Community Service. Just like Catholic Charities is Catholic Charities. Just like the Salvation Army is Salvation Army. We are the Seventh-day Adventist. And it's important that you guys understand this and treat your own church with respect as we do this. It's important that you understand when you are doing the food program, you wear this. Sis, would you please come with your uniform here? I'm going to show you beginning next year what the uniform will look like. It took me a while because the division doesn't require a uniform anymore. What the division does is that the division requires that we have every conference have their own uniform. When we go to Bermuda, Bermuda maintains this same uniform. We're changing the uniform in the Northeastern Conference. We're gonna go with our uniform that resembles the AY Society. It is gray and blue vest. What we have not, we have until January to do this, is how we're gonna use to have the patches and others for this area. We're no longer doing the vest. We're doing a different kind of shirt? Not shirt. Jacket. A different kind of jacket so that it looks different than us. Thank you so much. Well, and we're gonna have the parade and everything for you guys to do, but we're gonna do it differently. Why are we doing it differently? Because right now we're trying to recruit the young people to run ACS.
Amen.
And a lot of them, they're very particular as to how they look when they dress. So we must make sure that the clothes look a certain way so that, you know, what they are. They are at a certain age, they want to make sure that they, you know, look their part. I don't blame them because I have to make sure that I don't go back to Jamaica anymore so I can laugh. But that's another story. Too much TMI, too much information. But all I'm saying is that we kind of make sure that when we wear the uniform don't wear us. We wear the uniform. So it looks good on us. We're working it on a fine detail so that when you put it on, you look like you are what you are. But I want to appeal this one. And Brother Semper, Elder Semper know how jealous I am about the uniform thing. And Sister Murray also knows it. And I'm begging you, please get the sign outside, get the stuff. And I said to you, leaders, people in the board will not respect you unless you respect yourself. The reason why I tell folks all the time, when you go to the board, they treat you like stepchildren, is because if you appear like your stepchildren, only AY get all the money and you don't get anything. When you begin, when it's your day, you show off, you do this. And just imagine what happened. And I'm gonna be a little critical of you. I do it in everywhere. It's not that personal. When you are having your special day like today, if you begin to plan it early, you can get people from different agencies to come and political people to come because you work with them and you honor people during your special day and you honor the people who help you get the grant to buy the turkey. They want that. There is a young lady who's a Seventh-day Adventist. She runs she's the director